Hey everyone, I'm Joshua Orro, the Mustang Prince, and welcome to Mustang Prince Orro Reports. Now, for this episode, we're going to talk about the man in red himself, Santa Claus. Ever since my childhood, I always thought of Santa as a very iconic Christmas character due to his jolly attitude and generous nature. And as I said in my blog of Grandma got run over by a reindeer last year, I'll never forget the time when I actually witnessed him placing presents under my tree many Christmases ago. Anyway, over the years, there have been many movies starring Santa Claus. My favorites being Santa Claus is Coming to Town, Santa Claus the Movie, The Life and Adventures of Santa Claus from 2000, The Christmas Chronicles, and Klaus. However, there are a few other movies that I know about where Santa Claus is a title given to Santa's successors or heirs. For example, there were movies like Santa's Apprentice and last year's Noel. But for this episode, I'm going to discuss an animated movie that I think might have been the first movie to use that idea. So, released on November 23rd, 2011, the movie is Arthur Christmas. Now, on to the plot of the movie. Everybody knows that each Christmas, Santa Claus delivers presents to every last child on Earth. What everyone doesn't know is that Santa accomplishes this feat with a very high-tech operation hidden beneath the North Pole. But when the unthinkable happens and Santa misses out on one child out of hundreds of millions, someone has to save the day. So, it's up to Arthur, Santa's youngest son, to deliver a present to the forgotten tyke before Christmas morning dawns. So, what do I personally think of this movie? Well, to me, this is one of the best animated movies of 2011. It has great animation, characters, music, humor, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's just move on to Mustang notes. Arthur Christmas was the first animated movie made by Aardman in partnership with Sony Pictures Entertainment and its subsidiaries. And yes, this is the same Aardman responsible for movies like Wallace and Gromit, Chicken Run, Pirates, Band of Misfits, Shaun the Sheep, and Early Man. Surprising, since Arthur Christmas is computer generated and all of those movies were clay animated. Well, except for Flushed Away, but that's a topic for another time. Anyway, Arthur Christmas was first announced in 2007 under the name Operation Rudolph. Aardman spent 18 months on pre-production on the story and design in the UK before relocating to Sony's Culver City for another 18 months of production. On April 27, 2009, it was reported that production had begun with Aardman and Sony Pictures Imageworks working together on the animation. Speaking of animation, Aardman's style of CGI is surprisingly good. It kind of makes me think of DreamWorks style. It's smooth, well-detailed, and the character designs are pretty creative. Also, while the movie's story mostly focuses on delivering a present that was overlooked, at the center of the film, it focuses on Santa's family going through a state of comic dysfunction, which to me is pretty common in Christmas movies. Take Krampus, for example. Also, aside from the crazy cross-continent road trip plot, my favorite part of the movie is when Malcolm Santa and his elves deliver presents to every child in the world, using advanced equipment and military precision, which kind of feels reminiscent to Disney's Prep and Landing shorts, in a way. Plus, like I said earlier, I think this was the first Christmas movie that I've seen where Santa Claus is a title given to his successors. And That's basically all I got from Mustang notes, so let's move on to the characters and their voice actors. First up is our main character, Arthur, voiced by James McAvoy. Best known as Mr. Tumnus from the first Narnia movie, and he also got to be in the Romeo and Juliet movies, and just last year, It Chapter 2. I really like this character. Sure, Arthur's a bumbler, but his heart is in the right place and full of Christmas joy. Also, while Arthur works in the mailroom, I like that he's determined to deliver Gwen's bicycle to her house before morning. Next up is Arthur's father and the current Santa Claus, Malcolm, voiced by the legendary Jim Broadbent. Malcolm has been Santa Claus since 1941, and he's the 20th to serve that role. To me, Malcolm's role as Santa is quite different. He's portrayed as a man who used to think what he did meant something to people, but as the years pass, he sees himself reduced to nothing but a corporate symbol. He barely delivers a present by himself, and he questions if the family business means anything anymore. Next we have Arthur's mom, Margaret, voiced by Imelda Staunton, whom was in Chicken Run, Pirates Band of Misfits, Freedom Riders, the Maleficent movies, and the Harry Potter franchise. To me, Margaret is a dedicated and a talented character. Plus, like most Mrs. Clauses in the media, she's very caring. Also, I really love the part where she says that her husband will always be her Malcolm after he retires, which to me was very sweet. Then there's Arthur's older brother and next in line to take on the title of Santa Claus, Steve, voiced by the comical Hugh Laurie. Best known from the Stuart Little trilogy, 101 Dalmatians from 1996, Monsters vs. Aliens, the Snow Queen film from the 90s, Hop, and Disney's Tomorrowland. Now, to be honest, Steve is not the antagonist, but he can be a real douchebag due to his dysfunctional relationship with his family, and stating that one missed child doesn't matter. But on the bright side, he takes his job very seriously, he's obsessed with being efficient, and he only thinks about the day he takes over the family business. Plus, I like that he manages the North Pole Mission Control, and I also like that he tries to be a good son and brother. Next up is my favorite character, Grand Santa, Arthur's grandfather and former Santa Claus, voiced by Bill Nighy, who's not only known as Davy Jones from the Pirates of the Caribbean films, but he's also got to be in Pokemon Detective Pikachu, Astro Boy, along with Rango. Now, Grand Santa was the 19th Santa Claus, serving from 1871 to 1941. To me, he's basically Santa Claus in a nursing home, and I like when he talks about how the good old days were better than how things are now. And Christmas-wise, I have to agree with him. I mean, sure, it's cool seeing Santa flying around in a Christmas spaceship, but I still prefer the old sleigh and reindeer myself. Another character to talk about is Berenice Shelfley, voiced by Ashley Jensen, who is not only known for voicing Nanette in the Romeo and Juliet movies, but she also voiced Jock in last year's Lady and the Tramp remake. Berenice is a Scottish-accented, enthusiastic Christmas elf from the Gift Wrap Battalion, who ends up tagging along with Arthur and Grand Santa. To me, Bryony is my second favorite character in this movie, not only due to her Scottish accent, but also because she's very skilled in gift wrapping, and she can wrap anything, whether it being her own head or the head of a lion. Finally, we come to Gwen Hines, voiced by Ramona Marquez. Gwen is a little girl from Trelew, England, who wishes for a pink twinkle bike with stabilizers for Christmas. In my opinion, while she doesn't get too many scenes, I think Gwen is a very special little girl, and I like that she has a big belief in Santa Claus and Christmas magic, kind of like me and everybody else around the world. And now for my final words. Overall, Arthur Christmas is a spectacular movie. It reinvents the Santa Claus mythos while keeping in the true meaning of Christmas and what it means to give somebody a gift without expecting anything in return. The animation is great, the humor is hilarious, the characters are lovable and memorable, even though one was a real douchebag, and by the end of the film, you may have shed a tear of joy. I give this movie the highest rating of 100%. Well, that's all for now. Be sure to join me next time, where I go over a movie from the late 90s starring the most famous reindeer of all, Mustang Power.
Ho, 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 ho! Merry Christmas!